Hey guys, I'm Jen from Untitled Cosplay, here to show you something really exciting that I've been working on for the last little while. So a couple of months ago, Ubisoft reached out to me about making a cosplay for the new game Rainbow Six Extraction. Rainbow Six Extraction is a cooperative tactical first-person shooter which is available now to play on PC, PlayStation and Xbox. For more information about the game, feel free to check out the link in the description below. So in celebration for the release of this new game, I'm going to talk you guys through how I made Operative IQ. So my IQ cosplay took about 2 months to make. I've made everything from the helmet, the jacket, the pants, the everything. It was a labor of love, but I really like how it came out. So starting at the top, we've got the helmet, which is a render from the game that was then 3D printed. It was then sanded and primed and painted in spray paints. The visor is from a welding visor that I cut out and then glued into place. The mask on the front was also 3D printed and it's held in place with magnets. So next was the jacket and the pants. Those were made from a hexagon fabric that I got on a outdoor supplies store. It is usually used for making backpacks. It's a waterproof material. So I got that in white and then needed to dye it this very specific shade of teal, which is beautiful, but was a bit more difficult than I expected. But I love how it ended up coming out and the color is so vibrant on it. So once I was able to get the fabric the right color, I patterned out the jacket and the pants using store-bought patterns that I modified to my shape. I also got this yellow, it's a very thin plasticky material that I use for the inside of the hood. So I sewed the jacket and the pants all together and then I lined them with a linen for comfort and also to get the right look to the fabric. The jacket is probably one of my favorite parts of this costume. It is actually a heavily modified military vest that I got online. I changed the sides of it and also modified the strips of Velcro that it came with normally. And then I made a lot of pockets, so many pockets, just pouches and pockets. I made so many pouches and pockets and they're all functional. Every one of them is functional, which I think was is pretty cool. It's pretty nice. I like that they're all functional. I can put my phone in things. I did the same thing for the walkie-talkie on the front. I took the same fabric that I was using for the pouches and made a holder for the walkie-talkie and then also made a covering for it, which is this bright yellow. The walkie-talkie itself is actually made out of foam. I figured I'd make it out of foam because unfortunately finding walkie-talkies that looked like this were a little bit more expensive than I anticipated, especially since I wasn't actually going to be using it. So instead I made a replica out of foam and I'm pretty happy with how that ended up coming out. Actually, did the same thing for the speaker on the front of her chest. I also put on some reflective tape on the fronts and I really like how they actually do the thing, which is very nice. On the back of the vest, I stenciled out and painted by hand the police sign that she has on the back of hers. I just put that onto some fabric and then used Velcro to hold it to the vest. So that means that this vest is now able to be used for other costumes in the future. If I want to do maybe another version of IQ, maybe, who knows, we'll see what happens. For the gloves, I bought some fingerless riding gloves for bike riding and I painted the insides of them in this bright yellow fabric paint. It's the same paint I used on the front of the walkie-talkie. It's the paint that I use on pretty much anything that I was doing with lettering because it was just such a nice vibrant paint, and fabric paint's really good for longevity and also for moving with the fabric. I then took pieces of foam which I put contact cement on and then wrapped them in the same fabric that I made the pants and the jacket out of and then stuck those directly onto the gloves. The holster was also bought and then heavily modified. It is a normal gun holster that you can kind of buy off any outdoorsy military website. I took it apart and put it back together again in the way that I needed it to look. I then painted on the lettering around the thighs and I think they came out really nice. Now IQ's gadget was a really big part of her character and the gadget was a little bit of a brain teaser for me because I needed to make it open and close, and that's something that was a bit more difficult than I expected. In the end, I ended up doing foam. The base is foam that I then used black fabric just to go around the outside and attached it with straps and Velcro, and then the actual gadget itself is also completely foam, completely hand etched with a wood burning tool. and then it is sanded and primed and painted. The screen on the inside of the gadget is made by the same thing that I made the visor out of, so I just cut it directly out of a welding mask's visor. To make it functional in the way that it moved, I used a little hinge that you can buy from a hobby store that they use for making little books, and I basically pinned that into the foam on both sides so that it would open and close, and because the foam on the top is so light, it actually stays standing upright when I put it up. The shoes were just bought runners that I found that were quite similar to what I wanted. I went through and I repainted them, as well as adding the embellishments on the side, and I painted the entire soles yellow using a plasti dip type material, and then going over that with fabric paint, which worked pretty well. But the good thing is that they're super comfortable. Like, they're the most comfortable cosplay shoes I've ever worn. So I'm really happy with how this costume came out. I think it looked really good. It was pretty nice to wear. Definitely a winter cosplay, just because of how many layers there are. But as far as final results go, I'm pretty happy with how it looked and how it turned out. But I would love to know what you guys think. Would you make this cosplay? Are you going to be playing the new Rainbow Six Extraction? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And huge thank you to Ubisoft for making this happen and for collaborating with me on this project. Rainbow Six Extraction is out right now, and you can find a link in the description that will take you to a page with more information about it. Now I'm going to go off and play more Rainbow Six Extraction, and until next time, I'll see you later.